Welcome to another Black Diamond podcast. I am Shane Darwin. With me is Ashley Borg. Well, ANZAC Day has been run and won, and we had two beautiful grounds in operation on ANZAC Day for the first time, both a Hunter game and a Central Coast game. It was quite a week, Ash. How did you find your week down at Fagan Oval, and what excited you from what you saw this weekend?
Mate, Anzac Day is always the best day on the calendar in terms of what we celebrate, commemorate in Australia. But gee, it's becoming a real staple in the AFL Hunter Central Coast. Last week was the seventh edition at Warners Bay versus Cardiff, and both games, whilst relatively one-sided in the women's, the men's game was really competitive and it created for a great contest. The atmosphere was terrific. We had about five, maybe 600 people at the game, which was just superb. And wonderful viewership on YouTube, which was just great.
Yeah, it was exciting, and listen, the thing that excited me for the week was very much in line with that, Ash. It was what happened down at Envisage Property Oval. Obviously, the first time the Central Coast have been involved in the traditional Anzac Day clash. So we've had Cardiff and Warners Bay now for the six previous years, and this was the first running of a Central Coast version. And I loved that. It was fantastic. There was some genuine rivalry between the entrance Bateau Bay and Killarney Vale. It looks as though that's going to be a really exciting clash for years to come. Both clubs were out there wearing their Anzac Day jumpers, and they look sensational as well. The red poppies for the Bombers, and then the silhouetted soldier for the entrance Bateau Bay. They looked fantastic, and the crowd was outstanding. I think I said during the broadcast it was probably 95, 96,000. I think it sounded very much like the MCG down there. So it was a very, very exciting week down there, and just so good to see Anzac Day footy make its way down to the Central Coast. And it looks as though that one is here to stay. It was a great day.
No, it was marvellous. Might get on to the Anzac Day review. There's only four games to review, but we'll review the first two from the Envisage Property Oval, and then we'll have our two special guests from our two scene stealers from the games.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to be down there with myself and Chop, obviously running the broadcast down there. And in the women's, we saw quite an easy victory to Killarney Vale in the end, 17-12, 114 to 0-1-1 for the entrance Bateau Bay. It was a gallant the entrance Bateau Bay. They had Killarney Vale kept a pretty low score at quarter time. They were fighting hard around the ground, but at the end of the day, the class of Killarney Vale was just too overwhelming in the end. They had winners across the park. 4 goals to Gracie Jurek, 3 to Jackie Green, 3 to Kristen Kessler, and 2 to Mia Wilson. And they probably left a couple on the table there as well. 12 behinds, and a few of those were certainly kickable. Liam Murphy, Zoe Naylor, and Jazzy Rivers were the best on ground. And our Scene Stealer award was Jade Batten, who we'll speak to very shortly. So another dominant display from the Killarney Vale women, and they just keep on keeping on to their march for a third straight Black Diamond Premiership. In the men's, it was a similar sort of affair in that it was a relatively one-sided game in the end. 21-17, 143 for Killarney Vale against the entrance Bateau Bay, 5 goals, 6-36. There was 7 goals to Brandon Lloyd. He had an absolute day out. Nick Stanlenvelt chimed in with 6, and then Lockie Henderson had 3. So there was no shortage of avenue to goal for the Killarney Vale Bombers. They were dominant across the ground. Exciting in their ruck. We saw a ruckman who I think was a former 400 metres runner, champion runner, and he was quick and he had some skills as well. I think we had a period there where he took a 3 bounce set, and then the very next play he took a 2 bounce set. So how often do you see a ruckman take 5 bounces in the space of about 3 minutes? It doesn't happen very often, and they were all really well executed. Pat Murphy had a couple of goals for the entrance Bateau Bay. Killarney Vale's best were Nathan Smith, Jackson Potter, and Hayden Maham. And our scene stealer was Lockie Henderson. So all up, a fantastic day down at Envisage Property Oval. And it's a pleasure to be down there filming and bringing it to the world.
Yeah, well, the next two people we're about to meet today, or the next person anyway, Shane was the scene stealer for round 3 on the Anzac Day, and it was her very first game of Australian rules football. Now, Jade Batten, Anzac Day, has a very special place for her as she's a veteran of the Australian Defence Force. The game, as I said, marked her very first game in Australian rules football, and with what a debut. I mean, she was obviously spotted by you and Chop and very noticeable all around the ground, and we'd love to introduce to everyone now on the podcast Jade Batten from the Killarney Vale Football Club.
Well, why don't I bring her in? She's
Here
just.
she comes. How
I,
good?
I, I
Hello.
knew I knew the minute I let you in, you'd have disappeared from the camera. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Good,
going really
good.
well. Look, thank you so much for joining us on the Black Diamond podcast, Jade. And
Thanks for
there's
having me. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
no, that's all right. We'll just ask the questions, and you give us all you got. I reckon. Look,
Yeah.
your first game of footy, and your player of the match in our eyes. Anyway, what got you into football, and who got you into the footy?
Um, this club specifically and playing was one of the players, Jackie Green. She plays for the team and she also trains at my CrossFit gym. And she's been asking me for ages, like, come to training, come to training. And I've just been like, no, like, I don't want to play sport. Like, my sporting era's over. I haven't played sport for like 8 years. I'll get injured. I don't want to play. And then she just kept really annoying me about it. And so one day I went down to training and had a great time. And I was like, all right, I'm in. I'll play. This was in pre-season this year. And yeah, I just love it. So my favourite nights of the week is Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, well, it certainly looked to us, and I think both Corey and I sort of thought, wow, this player stands out. Obviously tats all over the arms. You're very distinguishable from a looks point of view, but it was what looked to be a genuine joy and excitement for the game that grabbed us in the commentary box too. We sort of really liked that enthusiasm you brought. There was potentially a few skills that could be improved on that comes with obviously being new to the sport, but we love what you brought to the game. Now that was game number one. Are we right on
Yep.
Saturday?
Yeah. I played 2 trial games, but that was officially, first game. Yep.
And how do you go talking with a coach about going from not having played before to jumping straight up into a pretty handy cup side that is stacked full of stars? How did that come about?
Well, when I decided to join, I like to go all in on everything I do. So I spoke to Brad and I said, I know I'm new here and I've got a lot to learn. Um, but my goal for the season is to make the cup team, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. I just made him aware of that, and like I guess I show up to training every week with that in mind. Like I ask the girls for feedback. Like I want to learn, and I know I have a lot to learn, even the rules of the game. But yeah, so I spoke to Brad, and he's been really great with that. And like to give me the opportunity to play on Anzac Day was amazing. That was really special to me, so I was super grateful for that. But yeah, I guess I just made him aware that that's what I want to work towards, and yeah, go from there.
No, that's excellent. And I did a little bit of snooping around, and I know that you own a CrossFit gym, and you've also you've also been a veteran in the Australian Defence Force. So obviously, from all of us, thank you for your service. Can you talk to us about your gym, and I guess a little bit about yourself outside the game?
Yeah, for sure. So my CrossFit gym, CrossFit Midnight Life, is in Long Jetty. I moved up here and opened that 4 years ago on Anzac Day, so 2022. And prior to that, I had another gym somewhere else when I got out of the army, and just decided that I wanted to get into fitness. I was finished with rugby. I played rugby union while I was in the army, and opened a gym because it was something that I loved doing. And I found after my rugby sort of, I guess, career was over, I finished up having 2 shoulder surgeries. And for me, starting CrossFit is how I got into my rehab and stuff for my shoulder surgeries. And then just went from there and kept going. And we have a lot of people come to CrossFit from sport or complementing their sport and what they do. And yeah, we've even had a couple of girls from the club come over, and yeah, sort of complements. I feel like CrossFit really transfers over into explosive sports like what we play.
Yeah, we saw on the weekend you going back with the flight of the ball into a marking contest. It was right on the wing in front of the commentary box there, and you took a fairly hefty hit. It was one of I think the gutsiest moves we saw for the whole day. Does your CrossFit strength sort of allow you to bounce back up? You sort of went off for only a few minutes, and then you were back out there again for the next quarter. I thought, wow, that's tough. Do you think a bit of CrossFit credits you there?
Yeah, like I'm going to be biased here and say yes, but it is true. Like I think if you have a strong base of support, like you're just going to be stronger on the field. Like you'll be able to take bumps easier, all that sort of stuff. And I suppose coming from a rugby union background as well, sort of taking big hits and having to get up again. It did just take me a moment to get up that time. I think they thought got hit pretty hard in the head, but I was just pretty winded and just needed to take a minute. So, yeah, I definitely think CrossFit adds to that and complements the footy.
Oh, you got yourself on mute there, Ash.
Sorry, Jade. I muted myself for a second. Then, would you like to just give your CrossFit gym another shout out, just in case there's anyone on the podcast that's willing to join, where it is and how they might be able to contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's CrossFit Midnight Life. We're in Longjetty. You can search us on Instagram, CrossFit Midnight Life _ Longjetty. We're on the main road there. Come on down for a free trial. Come try it out. And any teams out there, like we work with the Bombers on wet nights if we have them and stuff. So getting them in the gym, somewhere to train still. So yeah, thanks guys.
Jade, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. You are the only player with a 100% record for games played and Scene Stealer Awards won. So long may that continue. Been great having you on, and we look forward to seeing you again down the track.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, guys.
Thanks heaps, Jade.
Have a good night. See ya.
And next on our Black Diamond podcast, we've got Lachlan Henderson from the Killarney Vale Football Club, who is the men's version of the Scene Stealer. Shane?
Why don't we let Hendo in and we'll have a chat to him. Here he is. G'day, Lockie.
How you going?
Yeah, good yourself, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you.
No, it's good, mate. Well, just a little bit about Lockie there, Shane. He commenced footy in 2016 for Gosford, played a few games in the lower grades, stepped up in the Cup for the Tigers, and kicked 9 goals in his first year of Cup in 2018. 2021 played in the rep team that made the South game against the South Coast. And then after the Tigers sadly dropped out of the Cup, he came across to the Bombers in 2023. And with a couple of minor stints in the Ovens of Murray in AFL Queensland, has notched up about 30 Black Diamond Cup games from the Bombers. Mate, talk to us a little bit about the game on the weekend and your personal thoughts on the game and your own performance.
Yeah, it was a good game from us. Probably not our best, I don't think. We didn't quite play to our structures as much as we would have liked, even though we won by a fair bit. I still think there's a bit to work on. I think it was more, sometimes people were trying to go more personal than team game. I guess that's you can get complacent when you're playing an easy opposition, but that won't fly against the better teams. But yeah, personal game, it was pretty good. Hard to get on the scoreboard when you got Spoons and Noodle kicking 5 to 7 goals a game, but yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah.
And you talk about teamwork there, and you mentioned Spoons and Noodle. You do have some competition up in that forward line. Ben Roberts, what's his direction to that forward line in regards to who takes the ball? Is it who's hot on the day? Is it who's in best position? How do you distribute the ball between what are now, with Lockie Mulham in there as well, 3, 4, 5 really solid targets?
Yeah, we just preferably go to the best player in the best position, really. And then we like to keep one tall target deep, just in case we have to just kick it in long. And but yeah, mainly whoever's in the best position, we trust our midfielders to find that and hit that, really.
Yeah, excellent, mate. And first game on ANZAC Day for the Killarney Vale Bombers. What was the experience like, mate?
Oh, it was unreal. It was really cool to be a part of a day like that, and there was a lot of feeling in it. You could really feel the atmosphere and what that day means to everyone. So it was really cool, and I hope we get to do many, many more years of that.
It got pretty hot and heavy there in the last probably 30, 40 seconds of the game. There was a bit of a scuffle there over on the sidelines. What did Ben say about that? Was he all for that, or was he a bit watch yourself, boys? We don't want anyone being in a tribunal during the week? How did that come across?
He didn't really say anything about it. He just he was like, all right, It is what it is. I don't think we started it this time, so I'm pretty sure he's happy about that. But yeah, no, he doesn't really care about that stuff. Like unless you're giving away 50s, then yeah, you're going to get yelled at.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And you've got a real gun forward line at the moment, have you? The two top goal scorers in the comp are Nick Stanley-Velt and Spoonman Lloydo.
Yeah.
How do you fit in? How do you fit? You're saying it's hard to get goals, but how do you fit? How do you fit into the structure? What's the instruction there from Ben?
Yeah, I guess I'm a small forward now, which I haven't really been at Colony Vale before because normally it's just me and Spoons up there.
Yeah,
So that's something new that I got to try and work through. But yeah, just trying to stay on the ground when they go up or getting into my own spots or even just sacrificing and taking the lead out and creating the space behind me.
Now, we had a quick chat with you during the women's game after you'd played there, and it felt as though Chop was crediting your performance due to the chat you'd had with him the night before. Is there any truth to that rumour that it was the talk with Chop that got you up for best on ground in his eyes?
Oh, he'd be mad if I said no. I'm gonna have to give it to him. There must have been something in that.
Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate, on the podcast or anything you want to plug before we finish up?
Yeah, my mate Luke Flack, he's back from Melbourne. Might be getting a game soon, so
Wow.
look out for that.
Exclusive on the Black Diamond podcast, fellas. How good is that? Freaky Flacky back with the Bombers.
Yeah,
Love that.
exciting.
Nah, excellent, mate. Well, thank you so much for being part of it. Congratulations on the award this week. Enjoy the $50 voucher from Six Strings Brewery. Have a wonderful weekend off, and
Yeah,
good luck for the rest of the year.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Endo.
See you later.
Henderson from the Killarney Vale Bombers. And Shane, there are a couple more games at Fagan Oval on the weekend, and Cardiff 10 goals, 12-72, beat Warners Bay 2 behinds in the Women's Cup, and the main goal scorer for Cardiff was Maddie Galagos, the former NPL striker for Newcastle Olympic, kicking 6 goals. Savannah Newton won the ANZAC medal for best on ground. Eliza George-Arlis and Maddie Galagos were in the best for Cardiff. Olivia Sullivan played a really good game for Warners Bay down back. She repelled a lot of attacks for her side, the number 17 for Warners Bay. She had a really good set of hands on her as well. Caitlin Hall played magnificently well in the midfield, and it's really hard to say Amy Younger because Amy Pittman rolls a little bit better.
It does.
But shout out to Amy and Muzz if you're there, if you're watching a podcast. Amy Younger was in the best, but Cardiff just had a little bit too much all around the ground, really. When I was talking to Amy after the game, she said to me, we just lacked a little bit of talk in the middle of the field, and that's why Amy moved up the ground from forward to midfield, and she tried to be the voice for her team in the centre of the field, and just looking for a few more voices. But you couldn't question the heart of the Dogs. They were really battling hard, especially that first quarter and a half. They only conceded 3 goals to half-time. They conceded the first goal in after 13 minutes. It was a terrific first half, really, and then Cardiff showed the class and went away. The person we're about to talk to in about 3 or 4 minutes' time, Anastasia Backus, kicked a marvellous goal from about 45 metres out with a couple of bounces. She was all around the ground, just tough, hard and uncompromising, and she's really grown in the last year and a bit since she started playing the game. So she was outstanding. But Cardiff looked really good. The opposition, will get better as time goes on. And Amy and the coaching staff of Warners Bay just looking for continuous improvement. And I reckon they got that on Saturday, and they'll win some games before the end of the year. Warners Bay in the Men's Cup, that was a really, really interesting game of football. Cardiff came out and we had our predictions at the bottom of the screen before the telecast started, and one of us had 90 points and another one had 42. I think I had 42, and Chop had somewhere around the 40 mark. So we were around the mark, but Cardiff came out and they really planned to spoil the party. They worked hard across the ground. They had a good base down back. Fit and Tricky played really well for Cardiff, as well as Lachlan Manning, who for mine was probably in the top 3 best on ground. And if Cardiff had gotten a little bit closer, I reckon we'd be interviewing him today. But unfortunately, it got a little bit out of hand in that last quarter and a half. Their lack of fitness probably cost them for mine. And Warners Bay, their class shone after half time. Riley Hawes was just outstanding all around the ground, and we'll be interviewing him later on in the podcast. He kicked 7, could have kicked 10, really. He was that good, dominant all over the field. And he didn't just get touches inside 50, he got him down the ground, on the wing, half forward, in the middle. His finishing was just superb. Zach Munns played really well. He had an expansive game and kicked 3 himself. Cooper Daniel and Tom Gardner in the midfield were just brilliant. And, you know, they had a really great team feel about them. They played really well. I don't think Mark Dignam would have been very happy with the first half, but the second half he would have been ecstatic with the way they performed. For Cardiff, Lachlan Manning was terrific down back. Before the game, I said Fit and Tricky needed to play on Max Collins. They actually put Lachlan Manning on him, and he really struggled, Max, with Lachlan's agility and his size. So Adam Dugan with a wonderful match up there. Dylan Bonham, the skipper, he played great. And if I call him Rolls Royce again, I might actually get a bit extra payment from the Cardiff boys, because he's copped a bit of stick about the Rolls Royce during the week. And Braden Hawkins played really well. And look, they had a pretty good team line up in the middle of the ground. I think where they lacked was in the forward line. The only player that really impacted on the scoreboard with any regularity was Marshall Muirhead, whose pace, his agility, and his ability to hit the big sticks when needed was just brilliant in the first half. He kicked 3 early goals and kept Cardiff in the game. But the scene stealer was Riley Hawes, and the Anzac Day medalist was Riley Hawes, and he deserved both the plaudits. But yeah.
I watched the game back on Saturday night, and sort of echo everything you say there. Marshall Muirhead was exciting for Cardiff. His run, we kicked a couple of goals where speed was the factor there. Great seeing him, and I really like seeing Cardiff put up a great fight. I was probably a little bit critical with my prediction based on what I'd seen the week before against City, but they were a different side than what we saw against City. They'd tightened up their skills. We saw a lot of turnovers coming out of the back half against City, and they'd tightened that up against Warners Bay. It was great to see, and I'm really hopeful for Cardiff for the upcoming rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We might bring on our first guest from the Fagan Oval game, the women's scene stealer from the Cardiff Football Club, Anastasia Bacchus. While we're queuing up Anastasia, she commenced playing footy last year with the Birds and played 20 games in her first year, including a cup debut in round 1 versus probably the toughest team in the comp last year, Killarney Vale. She polled 2 votes in last year's Elliot Davey Medal Night against Terrigal Avoca. She was fortunate to play in a semi-final last year against the eventual premiers in Newcastle City in the plate comp. Anastasia, how are you today? Welcome to the Black Diamond Podcast.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Going well, thanks.
That's good.
Good. And obviously a big game on the weekend. It was Anzac Day, and you walked away with a Scene Stealer award. How did you find the game? Number one, playing on Anzac Day, and then your actual performance. How did you feel you went?
Yeah, amazing day, great weather, really. And of course, Anzac Day is just such a special day to pay our respects and remember the Anzacs. And it's an absolute honour to be able to play on such a special day like that. Warners Bay played so good. It was such good fun. I can't complain, really.
And we've never really met you before. We've been at a few of the games that you played. What got you into footy, and what's the best thing about the game in the time you've played footy so far?
Yeah, so I only started playing footy last year. I always grew up playing soccer, and honestly, it's just an amazing game. Like, it has everything in it. It's got tackling, kicking, goals. Like, it's just such a good sport. You couldn't ask for more in a sport. Like, what else could you want, really?
What is it with Cardiff and that connection with soccer players? Obviously, we saw Matty Galagos kick 6 on the weekend. And is there something special that Cardiff do to try and draw across the soccer players to the club?
I think it's just the recruiting and just like everyone being friends with everyone and saying it's such a good club and supporting each other, and it just kind of gets the ball rolling from there and snowballs. And yeah, it's just heaps of soccer players at that club because it's a great sport to transition into.
Yeah, excellent. And there's another really good soccer player that was on your runners, one of your runners on Saturday in Molina Ayres.
Yeah,
Looks like a
absolutely.
youngster. You getting her to
Yeah.
play? Are we getting her to play this year?
Oh, mate, maybe a celebrity appearance at some point, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'd love that.
No, I had a chat to her after the game, and I said to her, "Look, you've just got to come back for one game, yeah." So she did talk to me about
Absolutely.
contract. I think there's something to do with a contract for a particular A League club that prevents her from playing too much. I think that's what she.
I'd say so. She's a pretty hot commodity. It'd be hard to get her.
And Savannah Newton, she's a special talent, isn't she? Describe playing with her.
Oh my God, it's absolutely unreal. You can just rely on her constantly, and she just darts around so quick. Such like never drops a ball, can like pick up the ball so fast. She can do it all. She's always there.
Now, the team's been sort of persistent finalists the last couple of years. No doubt the team goal is to once again get up into those finals and hopefully walk away holding up a cup. But what about yourself personally? What are your goals for season 2026?
Honestly, just being such a new player, I just want to improve all around, really. Maybe get better at like choosing to handball instead of kicking when somebody's like 15 meters away from me. That would be a good place to start, I think. And yeah, just generally keep playing footy and trying to improve as best as I can and have fun.
No, excellent. That goal you kicked, I think it was the second quarter. From
Mm.
memory, the one that came off the back of the ruck contest, I think you would have been about 40 metres out. That was a pretty special goal and it had a couple of bounces.
Mm.
Do you remember that? Can you describe that for us?
Oh, I do remember that. It was pretty sick. I remember just like seeing the ball spill out and being like, oh my God, please pop up so I can catch it and like keep running at it with speed. And then, yeah, I don't know, I guess the soccer instincts just take over and you just have a quick look at the goal and go, oh yeah, I'll kick it that direction. And then just hope for the best, really. I don't know.
Excellent. And Jay Pitto, the coach, he's a really top fellow. What's he like as a coach for you?
Oh, he's amazing. So supportive. He knows a lot about the game as well. So it's really good to learn lots of things and tactics from him. And yeah, he's just really good with the girls at training.
Fantastic. Anastasia, it's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on your Scene Stealer Award from ANZAC Day. Worthy recipient. And as Ash said, that goal, I watched it back when I did the highlights package on Saturday night, and I was like, the goal didn't go in from there, did it? And I had to watch it a few times. It was a fantastic kick and a well-deserved Scene Stealer Award. Thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Amazing. Thank you.
Pleasure to speak to you, Anastasia. Thank you.
Likewise. Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, Shane, they're all our scene stealers, but we've got Riley Hawes in the lobby, mate. We might as well just drag him out now.
Well, after a 7-goal performance that scintillated the crowd at Fagan Oval on Anzac Day, we've got the scene stealer from round number 3, Riley Hawes from Warners Bay. How you going, Horsey?
Good, boys. How are you?
Yeah,
Good.
going great.
That's the way.
Mate, you're welcome to the podcast, mate. Talk to us a bit about your performance on the weekend. It was, mate, I was in awe of how well you played. How did you feel out there?
Yeah, the best I've felt in a long time, definitely. Getting an early goal always helps, I think, especially for the confidence. I think that I'm a confidence player, so if I can get a goal early, I think that sets me up for a good day and just gets me in a good headspace. So it was good to get that up early, and then the rest of them just came along as the game went on, which was really nice. And a few lucky ones. That last one stuck the boot. I don't went in, but I actually had really good delivery all day, so I'm really thankful for that. And the boys up the field work hard to get it to me, so that was really nice.
And it feels as though it's a pretty even forward line now down there, Riley. Obviously, you've got a few different targets through to goal, and it feels as though there's no ego amongst the team. You had Zach kick, was it 9 in week 1, and you've got Maxi Collins up there as well. How is that forward line gelling as a team? With a bit of a different structure this year. Obviously, no Dig playing alongside you, in the forward line, but he's there on the coaching line. How's that working for you guys?
It's really good. Mark's been so helpful with with all of us, especially myself. He sort of doesn't give me a license to do what I want, but he's very understanding of what we need as a forward line, and he's really helpful in that aspect. And it's so good that we have myself, Munzie, and Max as well. We all play so different, and but we like there's so many options down there for us. So we're pretty dangerous down there, it's really good, and we all share around, so that's good. We all know we're going to get our turn, and it's going to come. So it's really good to be able to do that with them too. And Max, when he's on, and Munzie as well. We all know what he can do, so it's really good to have those two down there with me.
Yeah, mate. And you had a season away a couple of years ago with Pennant Hills, the Demons, who have been going quite well in AFL Sydney, mind you, mate. How did you find the AFL Sydney Premier Grade?
I found it really good. I definitely I would encourage anyone who's 18, 19, whatever, to go down there if you can for a year or two even. I learned so much. You know, you got players like Nick Hay, who's absolutely killing it, kicked 9 on the weekend.
Yep.
I learned so much from him, and just like Ben Roberts, who's at Carnival now, he's a awesome coach there. So lucky to have him. I learned a lot under him as well. So yeah, it was really good. Learned a lot from going down to Sydney, and I'm really thankful for Pennant Hills for giving me that opportunity to play at the top level down there.
Speak about top level. What are your goals in regards to your playing career? Is there something beyond the Warners Bay Bulldogs that sort of lights your fire, or are you pretty comfortable in the AFL HCC at the moment?
It's a tough one. I'd love to move away to. I want to go to South Australia. I'd love to play footy over there, and just see how far I can take it. Obviously, everyone's playing AFL, right? Obviously, that's not a realistic goal, but it'd be nice to maybe play a really high level over in a different state, and possibly, who knows? But yeah, it'd be really nice to play at a high level, like a Adelaide Footy League over there. I know that's well respected league over there, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, and you've got rep training at the moment with the AFL Hunter Central Coast side. They're playing at Manuka Oval in a couple of weeks, so potentially getting onto that squad, mate. That'd be pretty exciting.
That would be really exciting. I played last year. I don't think I had the game I would have liked to have, but if I get that opportunity again this year, I'll be really thankful. And I know it's to go over to Canberra and play at Manuka. That'd be pretty special. So yeah, I'd love that.
Now you've dialed in from the job site. We thank you for your time. Is there a shout out you want to give maybe to your employer, but also who else did you want to give a thank to from supporting you through that both junior and senior footy career?
God, put me on the spot. God, no, nothing comes to mind. But there's a few boys from Warners Bay I'd like to say a shout out that just don't get recognition. Zach Jurisic, he's an absolute gun. And Hunter Thomas, them two, I reckon they don't get enough recognition. So if we can get them out there and put them on the map, that'd be good because they deserve it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I really appreciate it. All the best for the rest of the year, and good luck on the rep trials, mate. Hopefully you get in the team and can show us your stuff.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully it all goes well.
Well, mate, we've had half the round happen, Shane, on ANZAC Day. We've got the second half of the round to go. We might preview the Women's Cup matches between Nelson Bay and Newcastle City. Once the perennial powerhouses in the Women's Cup, Shane, I'm not sure how far back your memory goes, but these two sides back in the early days of the Women's Cup played off in the first 3 grand finals in the Cup. And this is the 10th anniversary of the Nelson Bay Marlins premiership in first grade over Newcastle City. Head to head, I reckon Newcastle City's record against Nelson Bay probably would be one of their worst, if it makes sense. They're in front by 8 games to 5. But when you go back through the early games of the Black Diamond Women's Cup, Nelson Bay were in front by 4 games to 1 in the first 2 or 3 seasons. So Newcastle have made some big ground. Just for mine, look, Newcastle City, even though they're travelling to Dick Burwell over, they've got a lot of class. Nelson Bay are coming up from the plate. I haven't seen Catalina Labranox yet. I'm not even sure if she's registered to play with Nelson Bay this year. They'll give them a real test, Nelson Bay, but I think Newcastle City should win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, Ash. I think Newcastle City will be too good. It is fantastic to see Nelson Bay up in the cup, as we've said a few times already this year. It'll be a really good test for them at home. They're always going to be a chance, but I think Newcastle City will be just a little bit too good on this occasion.
Absolutely, mate. And you might take us through Maitland versus Terrigal Avoca in the Cup.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting one because we've seen some pretty close clashes with them over the journey. Maitland Saints back up into Cup again this year after a year off, but Terrigal Avoca are the ones that interest me. We saw them in our first week; they were a match of the round there, and they were a much improved outfit against Newcastle City. Of course, Newcastle City comfortable winners there, but we know that's the thing. They came back out again in round 2 and made very easy work of the Warners Bay Bulldogs. And so this is going to be, I think, a good test for Terrigal Avoca to sort of stamp their class on the league and say, hey, listen, we're up now to play against the Cardiffs, the Killarney Vales, and the Newcastle Cities, and they're going to look to go out and try and monster Maitland, I suggest. Maitland, that being said, though, we know they play their home ground well. We are going to be broadcasting from there on Saturday. It's going to be our first game from the new club room, so there's a little bit to celebrate down there. Scott Ellis is a very astute coach. He's got a pretty good pedigree himself, so he's going to have those girls really on fire, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see how Jody Hicks and the Panthers go. I think they'll be probably just a little bit too good. But yeah, Maitland aren't without a chance.
No, look, Maitland, I think when you have a side that's coached by Scott Ellis, as I said, as you said, quite rightly, he's got a great pedigree about him, and his daughter Matilda is an outstanding footballer, has been playing since juniors. Got Leah Warner O'Donoghue, Skylar Dunn. They've got a plethora of players that can play a role, but for mine, I think Terrigal Avoca, what I saw in round 1 against City was really impressive. They have got some real structure under Jody Hicks. Mackenzie Penn gives them a real strength down back, and Jada Kennedy, who we haven't seen yet, but I've seen at AFL Sydney, is a live wire up forward and on the wing. So she kicked 2 goals last week. I think they're going to be just a little bit too strong. I got them by 5 goals, Shane, and when you put your graphics up, mate, Panthers on the prowl.
Panthers on the prowl indeed. You'll be able to watch that game live and free on the AFL Hunter Central Coast YouTube. Join us from midday on Saturday, and you can catch all the action there. Of course, there'll be plenty of action over at Dick Burwell Oval too on Saturday. The Wyong Lakes Magpies are travelling north to take on the Marlins in the Men's Cup. Nelson Bay pushed Killarney Vale in the first game, and we've since seen that since then that Killarney Vale are a really hot team, and for Nelson Bay to take it up to them in that first half, I think sets them up quite nicely. They are coming off the bye, so they'll have fresh legs, and they'll be looking to take on the Magpies. We've had a couple of tough hitouts in their first couple of games up in the Cup. They also come off a week off, obviously, with Anzac Day, and they've got some injuries, some things there that made it tough for Simon Smythe and the Pies there. They did have to field 5 under-17s in that first match against Maitland, so they're going to look to strengthen that side and bring a few more in. But of course, Wade Blackburn and his men will be pretty keen to make a statement on their home turf, and I'm expecting Nelson Bay to get up quite comfortably in this one. It's going to be a 10-goal margin for my mind.
Yeah, look, I can't really add too much more than what you've said, mate. I think Nelson Bay for mine by about 50. Marlins will try to kill it off early because I think the longer Wyong Lakes stay in the game, the more they think they'll win it, or they can win it, and then they'll become more dangerous. So they've got some good players there. Kai McIntosh Walsh is a really handy footballer, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him on the scene later on in the year. Bryce Main, excellent footballer, came from AFL Sydney. They got some good players in that team, Wyong Lake. So as they gel and as they get used to the pace and the structure of the Cup, I think they're going to shock a few teams during the year, but I don't think they'll do it on the Saturday, mate. We might move on to the Maitland Saints Terrigal Avoca game. Match Max McMahon Oval at 2 p.m. Live and exclusive on the scene. The AFL Hunter Central Coast YouTube page. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. The more subscribers you get, the more access you get to the games, and you don't have to go fluffing around channels to try and find us. It'll be right there. You'll get all the access to the games, this podcast, Ollie's Mark and the Mike podcast. But head-to-head, if you're a Maitland fan, it doesn't make for good reading. Terrigal Avoca 14, Maitland zip. And the last time they played each other was last year, round 15. Terrigal Avoca 90. Defeated Maitland 22. I think from memory, Shane, we covered that game.
I think we might have as well, Ash, yeah.
There was a game there. But Maitland have never beaten the Panthers since Maitland's entry into the Black Diamond Cup in 2018. They've started well. They've got 2 victories, Shane, which will give them some confidence, albeit against Wyong. And they just got over the line against the entrants, Bateau Bay, who last week were given a footy lesson by the Bombers on Anzac Day. The Panthers had a really good hard-fought win against the Dogs last week, but were bested in the traditional Newcastle Central Coast heavyweight clash by Newcastle City. Some of the main plays you're looking for there, Shane, for Maitland?
Oh well, listen, Rylan Hoffman up front's got to be one of the highlights there. He had a day out, or I think he's had a couple. Has he had 2 bags? I'm trying to remember now. I know he did against the entrance Bateau Bay from memory, but he's had a good couple of games. So up forward, he'll be important there. Zach Stewart down Wellborn, they'll be important as well. And Ben Nowicki, heard he's loving life at the Saints now as well.
Yeah, and also Zach Stewart. I think you mentioned Zach Stewart. You got Abe Russell. So there's like some great football, really top talent. Pankhurst, Riley Newstead. The list goes on. They've been on the precipice for a while, Maitland. You're wondering if this year could be the year where they make it all gel. But with a massive game against the Bombers in round 4, Chris Bishop's men won't want to go 1-2 after round 3. It won't be disastrous, but a losing record after round 3 doesn't look great. They may go into the next week's game against the Bombers as an underdog, potentially. And the Panthers will come to life, I reckon, this week. I just think look for Pitt, Harrison Pitt, Grimm and Lee, and Adam Miller to really fire on Saturday. I've got them by 7 goals. And when you put your graphics up, mate, Panthers to withstand the test.
Yeah, listen, I tend to agree. The Maitland Saints will have a good head out. And, on paper, they're currently sitting on 3rd on the ladder and Terrigal Avoca are 5th. And, they're 2-0 against Terrigal's 1-1. So on ladder form, it's Maitland, but I think out in the field it'll be Terrigal Avoca. And, yeah, as you say, Ash, probably around that 40-50 point mark.
No, excellent, mate. James Seidel on board from Lake Macquarie Dockers. He's a very busy man, Shane, so we better work with him. This weekend, the Lake Macquarie Dockers are hosting Newcastle City in the Bob Hutton Cup. It's a very special day at Tolkaba Park on Saturday, and James is here to talk to us, mate. How's the season travelling for the Dockers so far, mate? Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Shane. Ashley, it's good to see you. The season's we've only really had one game because we had the bye and then obviously Anzac round. So, but the first hit out was really good. Pre-season, the boys have been looking strong. So, it's just about building now. Hopefully this weekend, we know the challenge we're up against, but hopefully we can put on a good showing anyway on a pretty special day.
Yeah, Ash mentioned it was a special day. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, Bob Hutton Cup Day. So obviously he's a legend of both clubs. Had so much to do with a lot of the guys that are still at both footy clubs. And just recently, last year, the family came to us asking if we could do something with charity to incorporate into it. One of Bob's massive passions, is obviously men's mental health. The game now is also raising funds for the Black Dog Institute, which is really awesome to be able to do that. We talk all the time at the Dockers about trying to find ways to be more active in the community, and so this is a great opportunity. The boys can't wait. I've got the jersey up here behind me.
Show us the jumper, mate. Show us the jumper, Jimmy.
Yeah, so
on the screen, mate.
I've got the number facing the this way, but only because that's where the sponsors are. I promise, it's not a selfish thing.
Nah, get them on there, mate. Get them on there.
The
more we can plug clubs and sponsors, the better, mate.
But that's the front side. So you see,
beautiful.
It's all just blacked out. Bit of inspiration from the Fremantle Dockers stealth jersey, and then also the Brisbane Broncos blackout jersey they did not too long ago as well. I won't be able to hang that as well now. It's not going to look as nice, but
no, that was sublime, mate. That's great. Mate, and apparently there's an auction going on after the game. Is it an online one, or do you have to be at the ground to get involved?
At this stage, you've got to be at the ground, but you've got my number, so you can call up, we can telephone you in. But yeah, we're gonna auction them off, and hopefully raise some money, obviously, for Black Dog, and see how we go. The boys have jammed me up since I'm on this show, and I'm meant to be the captain. Mine's got to go for a bit of cash. So hopefully, hopefully there's some benefactors around.
And how's captaincy treating you?
Oh yeah, I love it. I think really special to it's not something that I ever set out to have, but once the boys vote you in, it's a pretty special feeling. I think that for your peers to see you that way, and we've got a lot of goals as a group that we want to achieve, and to have their vote of confidence to do it's been fantastic. We got so many great players with experience, like Tyler Chisholm and Matt Mears and those, and then we've also got a great mix of amazing youth coming through. So it's an exciting time to be their captain. I'm humbled every time I watch them play and think, how do you want me to be your captain? You're such incredible players. So I love it.
Wonderful, mate. And before the season started, I hosted the season launch, and before I sort of got there, I heard some rumours that the club were looking at making the jump up to the cup grade this year. Can you talk to? I don't know how much you can or can't say, so I don't want to get you in trouble. But how close was it to happening?
Well, we were in the fixture. We were in the first fixture that came out to play cup. The boys that we have there are super keen to do it. And as I said, when I talked about us having a lot of goals at Lake Macquarie, that's one of them. We really want to play cup football. I think the one thing that we underestimate as a group, obviously, is there's a financial side to it as well. We have to be the club has to be confident that we can, put the money up to do it. And we've done really well in the last couple of years at cancelling out debt. We don't owe anyone anything anymore, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But we didn't want to go straight back into that situation. So they held us at bay. One more, probably wasn't the easiest thing to come and tell us that they were holding us back. We were so keen to do it, but we'll have another year at plate. We'll go as hard as we can, prove ourselves again, hopefully build the squad, more numbers earlier next pre-season, and hopefully we'll be playing cup. And I mean, that's the goal. I really appreciate you guys having me on, because I know we're just a Resi's team at the moment, but massive aspirations to play cup, and can't wait to be doing it.
Mate, we want to promote every club in AFL Hunter Central Coast, mate. So if there's anyone that's watching this podcast from a non-cup club, and you've got something to promote like Jimmy did, just get on my Instagram or chat to Shane, or give Emily Brown a ring at the AFL Hunter Central Coast, and we'll get you on the podcast, because every club's important in our comp. Doesn't matter whether you're first grade, third grade, or anywhere in between. Every club makes up this competition, and it's growing every year, so it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you heaps for being on the podcast tonight, mate. It's absolute privilege to chat to you, mate. I remember chatting to you at the Elliot Davey last year and having a good yarn to you afterwards. So, it's great to have you on the show, mate.
Yeah, usually people can't shake me at those things after I've had a couple of beers. So, yeah. I appreciate having me on.
Thanks very much, mate.
Very welcome, mate. Very welcome, and great. Best of luck for the Bob Hutton Cup. That number 2 jersey, ladies and gentlemen, it's got to go for big money. So get down to Tolkova Park on Saturday. Make sure you put your hard-earned in the sky out of your skyrocket and bid on that number 2 jersey that Jimmy Siedel's going to wear on Saturday and dominate with.
Yes, please.
Take care, mate, and all the best. Thank you again.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Ash.
No worries, mate. Take care. I think that pretty much wraps us up, doesn't it?
It does. It's been another crackerjack Black Diamond podcast. Gee, we've spoken to some people over the last couple of weeks. Ash, I love it. I can't wait to keep on keeping on and meeting the people of the league. As Ash said earlier in the broadcast, we are always keen to get your stories out there. So if you do have a special event or a little bit of something you'd like given a shout out, please let us know. Whether you're playing Cup, Plate, or Shield, we're really keen to push the entire league. So don't be shy in doing that. Ash, over to you to sign off, mate.
Mate, one more thing before we go. I was talking to Emily Brown during the week. We're at an unrelated AFL function actually last night, Tuesday night at McDonald Jones Stadium, and she casually said to me that there's another team in the Black Diamond Plate that's just been promoted from Shield. So Port Stephens Power will field that a team in Black Diamond Plate from this round onwards. She told me it is a legitimate thing. Everybody knows about it. It's not a thing they're hiding. They will be starting in the Black Diamond Plate from this week. So well done to Port Stephens for making the step up, and all the best for the remainder of the year. But for now, from Shane, myself, it's goodbye. Join us on Saturday from Max McMahon Oval from 12 p.m. for the Maitland Terrigal Avoca contest.